This is the daily writing exercise recorded day 17, titled Hackberry Drive. The man was a multi-million-dollar asshole who still used a Gmail account to do his business with. He was richer than anyone he had ever met, yet still took photos of things, which he then emailed to them. It was not that he was old, he was just very peculiar about a few things. He lived on Hackberry Drive because he liked the name. All the other occupants on the west side of the street thus had to go. Lester Black did everything and anything he could to get them out, and, as always, he succeeded. There were about 20 houses on the right side of the street. In the early stages, Lester managed to buy out the first 7. The offer he gave them was modest, but fair. The residents took the money, not so much out of greed, but rather out of sensibility. Lester Black's nature was well known to all, and they felt it was better simply to take the money and go. Lester had threatened them as much during their conversation, and they had taken notice. The next 4 were a bit more difficult, but were still quite easy to get rid of compared to the rest. Lester bought them out after threatening to buy the companies these people worked for, and threatened to relocate them to distant corners of the earth. The only other option they had left was to resign on their own, which simply wasn't an option for any of them. The 4 residents took the warning and dutifully sold out their homes to him. The last remaining 6 were a different breed. Lester Black had to pull out all the stops. It was also at this stage that the media got involved and his character was besmirched on a daily basis. It was also the point that protesters started showing up on the street, though Lester Black did not care. He began tearing down the houses he had already bought. Truck after truck rolled down the street for weeks on end. Builders, engineers, supervisors, observers, and everything and anything in between that which was involved in construction showed up at one point in that street. It drove the remaining 6 mad. One of them sold out after the 3rd week of this. A second 2 months later, though at the time he claimed to only do so because his mother was ill and he decided to move back in with her so he could take care of her. The other 4 took a bit more convincing. They were not motivated by money and all worked at companies too expensive for Lester Black to take over and threaten them with. They had roots in the community, with 3 of them having high school age children that attended the local schools. Additionally, even if they wanted to move, they couldn't. The prices in the neighborhood had shot up ever since Lester Black had shown up. They would either have to move to the other side of the city or leave the city entirely. This was not an option for them. So, Lester Black started to get creative. He bought the schools their children were attending and had them expelled immediately. This angered the parents to no end, but they still held firm. Then Lester Black started to threaten them with lawsuits and endless legal bills. But that did not amount to much. The legal system was far too clogged up as it was, and no judge or prosecutor had time to deal with Lester Black and his frivolous lawsuits. So, Lester went back to buying up whatever he could. He made sure to block the road every instant of the day so the 4 could not leave by car. He installed large neon signs next to their homes and had music blasted at them at random intervals during the night. That bit of business he had to stop once the police got involved, but the damage was already done. Though what finally drove the 4 over the edge was when Lester on purpose and accidentally cut their power and water and gas. They were left without any amenities for 2 weeks straight. 2 weeks wherein their priorities were realigned and they came to the light. That light being Lester Black and his devilish smile as they signed the contracts and sold their homes. Their homes were flattened the second they left. They were flattened so quick in fact that they could see them getting destroyed with most of their belongings still in it. Lester Black stood right beside them when he told them that it was all going to be alright. Because it always did, when he had his way. No more was written or recorded. Thank you for listening.